Money isn't evil, but the way we think about it, that can destroy us or set us free. Every day, people wake up and feel the weight of money pressing on their chest, the bills on the kitchen table, the credit card statement that looks more like a horror novel than a receipt, the constant fear of what if I lose my job tomorrow. And then on the other side, there are people who sleep peacefully at night. Not because they're billionaires, not because they have yachts or mansions, but because they've built a cushion. They know that if their car breaks down, if the economy shakes, if life throws a curveball, they'll be okay. What separates these two groups isn't luck. It isn't even intelligence. It comes down to money habits, the mindset, the rules they follow when it comes to earning, saving, and investing. Here's the surprising part. Most of these money principles aren't new. They've been around for thousands of years. You can actually find them written down in one of the oldest books still read today, the Bible. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't about religion, this is about wisdom. The Bible has over 2,000 verses that touch on money, wealth, debt, generosity, and work. And whether you're religious or not, the lessons are incredibly practical for life today. Think about it. We're living in a time where people are working harder than ever, yet feeling broke. We're bombarded with ads telling us to buy more, spend more, upgrade more, and at the same time, debt is climbing, stress is rising, and too many people feel trapped. But what if I told you that the blueprint for financial freedom has been here for centuries? What if the answers were already written down, waiting for us to apply them? That's what we're going to talk about. Simple, clear money lessons that can help you build security, reduce stress, and create wealth for your future. Lessons that can take you from surviving paycheck to paycheck to living with confidence, freedom, and purpose. Here's what's coming. How saving just 20% can change your entire financial future. Why learning to want less might make you wealthier than wanting more. How debt quietly chains people to a life they don't want. Why work done right isn't just about money, it's about meaning. The timeless advice of diversification. The truth about money and happiness. How to build wealth, not just for yourself, but for generations to come. And why wisdom, not money, should always be your first goal. This isn't theory. These are real principles that people in North America and anywhere in the world can apply today. If you've ever felt behind, if you've ever worried that you'll never get ahead, if you've ever wondered whether wealth is only for the lucky few, this video is for you. Stick with me, because each lesson builds on the next. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap for building a stronger financial future, one that lets you live on your terms, one that gives you peace of mind, one that keeps you from being trapped in the cycle of debt and stress. The passive path is all about showing you how to take steady steps toward freedom, and the first step starts with one of the oldest and most powerful lessons about money. Save before you spend. The question is, how much? Let's talk about the power of saving and why one ancient story could be the key to your future. Imagine this. You're living in a city that just entered the best economic boom of your lifetime. Jobs are everywhere. Food is abundant. The shelves are full. People are spending like there's no tomorrow. That's the setting of an ancient story about a man named Joseph. He interprets a dream for the king of Egypt. 7 years of plenty are coming. But after that, 7 years of famine. His advice is simple. Take 1/5 of everything you earn during the good years. Store it, protect it, don't touch it. When the famine came, Egypt wasn't just surviving, they were thriving. They had enough to feed themselves and even help other nations. That principle is as powerful today as it was back then. Save 20%. Not when things are hard, not when you feel like it. Every time you earn money, think about the average paycheck in North America. Most people spend it all. Rent, groceries, streaming subscriptions, takeout food. Little by little, it disappears. Then a medical bill shows up. Or the car breaks down. And suddenly you're scrambling. But what if you had a savings cushion? Let's say you make $50,000 a year. 20% of that is $10,000. Over 5 years, that's $50,000 saved before you even think about investments. That's a down payment on a house. That's protection against layoffs. That's breathing room. Here's a practical way to start. Set up automatic transfers. The moment your paycheck hits your account, send 20% to savings. Don't wait until the end of the month. If you wait, the money will find a way to disappear. You don't need to start at 20% on day one. If you're only saving 5% now, aim for 10, then 12, then 15. Work your way up. What matters is consistency. This is why so many people love the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% goes to wants, and 20% goes to savings or debt payoff. It's not complicated. It just takes discipline. Let's look at a simple example. Two friends, Alex and Jordan, both make $60,000 a year. Alex spends almost everything, keeping just a small emergency fund. Jordan decides to follow the 20% rule. At the end of 5 years, Alex has almost nothing saved. Jordan has $60,000 in the bank. That's the difference between panic and peace. Life in North America isn't always predictable. Layoffs happen. Medical emergencies happen. Unexpected expenses come out of nowhere. Saving is your shield. It doesn't make you rich overnight, but it keeps you from being crushed when hard times hit. The passive path is about long-term security, not short-term thrills. And it all starts with building that emergency fund. When you save, you buy yourself freedom. You buy time. You buy choices. But here's the thing. Saving is powerful. Yet if you keep chasing every new gadget, every new car, every shiny thing on your Instagram feed, you'll never get ahead. The real secret isn't just about how much you save, it's about learning how much you truly need. And that brings us to the next lesson, the surprising wealth hidden in minimalism. We live in a world where the message is clear: buy more, upgrade faster, own bigger. If you don't have the latest phone, the newest car, or the perfect kitchen, you're falling behind. But here's the truth. The size of your house doesn't measure the size of your happiness. The number of things in your closet doesn't measure the quality of your life. Your value as a person isn't written on a price tag. An ancient principle tells us that life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. That wisdom speaks louder today than ever. Because in North America, consumer culture is everywhere. Black Friday deals, buy now, pay later offers, 0% financing for 12 months. It never stops. Minimalism is the antidote. And by minimalism, I don't mean selling everything and living out of a backpack. I mean being intentional, choosing what actually adds value to your life, saying no to things that only create clutter and debt. Here's a simple example. Take two coworkers, Sarah and Mike. Sarah buys a brand new car every 3 years. She says it's for reliability, but really it's because she loves the smell of a new car. Her payments eat up $500 a month. Mike drives a reliable used car. He invests the $500 every month into an index fund. Fast forward 10 years, Sarah has cycled through 3 cars and still owes money. Mike has over $80,000 invested and his car still runs fine. That's minimalism in action, not deprivation, not misery, just choosing freedom over clutter. Minimalism also reduces stress. A smaller home means less cleaning. Fewer credit card bills mean fewer headaches. Not chasing every trend means more time for what matters: family, health, freedom. It's not about being cheap, it's about being clear. Do you really need 5 streaming subscriptions? Do you need to replace your phone every year? Do you need the designer handbag when you're still paying off student loans? Living with less can feel like breathing fresh air. It gives you space, it gives you focus, and it speeds up your path to financial independence. Think of it this way. Every dollar you don't spend on clutter is a dollar you can put toward your future. Every time you resist lifestyle creep, you're cutting years off your journey to freedom. Minimalism isn't about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to the right things. The things that make your life richer, not just more crowded. On the passive path, we don't chase status symbols. We chase peace of mind. We chase the kind of wealth that lasts longer than the latest gadget. And if saying yes to every new thing keeps you broke, then saying yes to the wrong kind of credit can do even worse. Because there's one financial trap that destroys more dreams than almost anything else: debt. Debt promises freedom. It whispers that you can have what you want right now. No waiting, no saving, just swipe the card. But behind that promise is a trap. Because every dollar borrowed comes with chains attached. The borrower becomes a slave to the lender. That's not just an old phrase, it's reality. Look at credit cards in North America. The average interest rate is over 20%. That means if you owe $5,000 and only make minimum payments, you could pay back more than double that amount over time. That's $10,000 for a $5,000 TV, vacation, or shopping spree. Payday loans are even worse. Some charge interest rates equal to 300 or 400% a year. It's no wonder so many families feel like they can never catch up. Debt keeps them working for bills instead of working for freedom. Now, not all debt is the same. Buying a home with a reasonable mortgage can build wealth if done wisely. Student loans can open doors to higher-paying jobs, though they must be managed carefully. But high-interest consumer debt is poison. It eats away at your paycheck. It steals your options. It keeps you trapped. So how do you escape? There are 2 common strategies. The first is the snowball method. You pay off your smallest debt first, no matter the interest rate. The quick wins give you motivation. You feel progress, and that fuels momentum. The second is the avalanche method. You pay off the debt with the highest interest rate first. It saves you the most money in the long run. It's logical, efficient, and financially smart. Which one should you use? The one you'll actually stick with. Because the most powerful plan is the one you can follow consistently. Let's picture two neighbors. One is drowning in credit card debt. Every paycheck disappears into payments, leaving nothing left to save or invest. The other paid off those cards years ago. Now their money works for them, not against them. That's the difference debt makes. One is chained to a lender, the other is free to build a future. On the passive path, we talk a lot about freedom, and you can't be free if debt owns your paycheck. Escaping debt is a game changer, but clearing your debt is only part of the story. Because the real question is, what will you do once you're free? The answer lies in the value of hard work. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty comes like a thief in the night. That old warning still hits hard today, because if you look around, it's easy to see how laziness keeps people stuck. Not laziness in the sense of sitting around all day doing nothing, but the kind of laziness that shows up when someone avoids growth, when they refuse to learn new skills, when they settle for good enough even though they know they're capable of more. Wealth doesn't fall into your lap. Even if you win the lottery or inherit a fortune, it doesn't last without effort. There's a reason so many lottery winners end up broke. They never built the habits or the discipline to manage money. And when easy money runs out, so does the wealth. True wealth is built by work, not just any work. Focused work, consistent effort. Getting up early when you'd rather sleep in. Finishing that certification after a long shift. Taking on projects that stretch your abilities. Look at the stories we hear every day. A single mom works 2 jobs to pay off debt. She studies at night to earn a nursing degree. 5 years later, she's debt-free, earning twice as much and showing her kids what resilience looks like. Or consider someone in their 20s who starts a small landscaping business on weekends. At first, it's just mowing lawns, but over time, they add new services, hire a helper, and turn it into a full-time business. That's not luck. That's effort compounded. Hard work doesn't just build money, it builds character. It gives you pride when you look back and realize, I did that. It teaches you discipline. It gives you purpose, and purpose matters. Many people dream about retiring early, but here's the reality. When people stop working completely, many lose their sense of meaning. Studies show that retiring too early can even shorten your lifespan, because we weren't built to do nothing. We were built to create, to contribute, to grow. That doesn't mean you need to grind yourself to the bone forever. It means choosing work that matters. Work that energizes you, work that supports your family and your goals. Work that creates value for others. When you put in the effort, money tends to follow, and even more importantly, satisfaction follows. Because wealth isn't just about numbers in a bank account, it's also about health. It's about relationships. It's about meaning. On the passive path, we don't shy away from hard work. We embrace it as the foundation of freedom. But here's the catch. You can work hard your entire life. You can save. You can avoid debt and still lose everything if you're not careful. Because the world is unpredictable. And that's where the next principle comes in. The power of diversification. Divide your portion into 7, even into 8. Because you never know what disaster may come upon the land. That's ancient advice, and it's basically saying one word. Diversify. Don't put everything you own in one place. Don't bet your entire future on a single stock. Don't tie your whole financial life to one job, one investment, or one property. Because the future is unpredictable. Think back to the year 2000. Tech stocks were booming. People were convinced the internet would make them rich overnight. Then the dot-com bubble burst. Fortunes disappeared. Retirement accounts were wiped out. Fast forward to 2008, real estate was considered the safest bet in America. Banks were handing out mortgages like candy. Then the housing market collapsed. Millions lost homes. Investments were cut in half. If all your money is in one basket, one crash can ruin you. But if your wealth is spread out, you can take the hit and keep moving. Here's how diversification looks today. Stocks spread across different sectors, not just tech, bonds to add stability and income, real estate for long-term growth and rental income, side hustles or small businesses to bring in active and passive cash flow, even cash savings for emergencies. It's like building a table with multiple legs. If one leg breaks, the table still stands. If all your money is in a single leg, the table collapses. Let's take an example. Imagine two investors. One puts all their money into a single company, say a trendy electric car stock. The other spreads their money across index funds, real estate, and even a retirement account. If that car company stumbles, the first investor is in panic mode. The second investor feels the impact but keeps moving forward, because while one part of their portfolio struggles, other parts continue to grow. That's why diversification matters. It doesn't guarantee riches, but it protects you from disaster. It gives you stability in a shaky world. On the passive path, stability is just as important as growth, because freedom doesn't come from taking reckless bets. It comes from building a foundation that can weather any storm, and storms will come. Markets will rise, markets will fall, jobs will come and go. The world will always be uncertain. But here's the real danger. Even if you diversify, even if you save, even if you work hard, there's one thing that can quietly wreck your life. Not money itself, but how much you love it. And that's where we go next. The truth about money and what it can and cannot do for you. People often say money is the root of all evil. That's not the full truth. The real phrase is that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Money itself is neutral. It's just paper, numbers, or digital entries in a bank. It's a tool. It's how you use it that matters. When money becomes the center of your life, that's when things break down. It happens more often than you think. Celebrities who earn millions but spiral into addiction. Athletes who go broke within years of retirement. Executives who have everything on paper but still feel empty inside. Chasing money for the sake of money never ends well, because no matter how much you make, it never feels like enough. There's always a bigger house, a flashier car, another status symbol to chase. But here's the flip side. Having money isn't bad. In fact, it can be good. You can't leave an inheritance if you don't have wealth. You can't support your kids, or help your parents, or donate to causes you care about if you're broke. Think of a family that builds a small business. They start with almost nothing. They save, they invest, they grow. By the time they're older, they can pass that business to their children. That's generational wealth in action. Or think about someone who invests steadily in retirement accounts. When they're gone, those assets don't vanish. They provide security for grandchildren. They create opportunities for education, for home ownership, for stability. Money can be a blessing when it's handled with purpose, when it's used to create freedom, not obsession, when it supports relationships instead of replacing them. Ask yourself this: do you control your money, or does your money control you? On the passive path, money is a servant, not a master. It works for you. It serves your goals. It helps you live with peace and confidence. But to truly create lasting wealth, there's something bigger than money, something that can carry your family forward for decades. It's about building wealth that outlives you. It's about leaving something behind that keeps working long after you're gone. That's the next step. The power of building generational wealth. Picture two families living side by side. One family spends every dollar they earn. When the parents pass away, they leave behind debt, unpaid bills, and stress for their kids. The other family makes similar money, but over the years they save, invest, and live within their means. When they pass away, they leave behind a home, savings, and investments. The first family leaves burdens. The second leaves opportunities. That's the difference between living for today and building generational wealth. The ancient wisdom says a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, not just for their kids, but for their grandchildren. That means creating a legacy that stretches beyond your lifetime. In North America, generational wealth is powerful. It can mean paying for a grandchild's college. It can mean passing down a debt-free home. It can mean giving your family the head start you never had. Think about the families who own land that's been passed down for decades. Or the businesses that are still thriving in their third generation. That didn't happen by accident. It happened because someone made a decision to build, save, and protect. So how do you start if you feel behind? Begin small. Open a retirement account and contribute every month. Start a savings account for your kids. Buy life insurance to protect your family if something happens to you. Invest in assets that grow over time, not things that lose value. Even if you're just setting aside $50 a month, you're planting seeds. Over decades, those seeds grow. They turn into shade trees your children and grandchildren can sit under. Generational wealth isn't only about money. It's also about teaching values. Show your kids how to manage money. Teach them about saving, giving, and investing. Give them the knowledge to continue the journey. On the passive path, wealth isn't just about you. It's about creating a future where your family doesn't start from zero every generation. But there's one final principle that makes all the difference. Because even if you save, even if you avoid debt, even if you build wealth for your family, none of it matters without this one thing: wisdom. The kind of wisdom that guides every financial decision, the kind that lasts longer than money itself. Let's talk about why wisdom is the greatest investment you can ever make. A king once had a dream. In that dream, he was asked a question. What do you want? Wealth? Power? A long life? He could have asked for treasures. He could have asked for kingdoms. He could have asked for anything. But instead, he asked for wisdom. That king was Solomon. And because he asked for wisdom, he gained everything else. Wealth followed. Respect followed. Influence followed. That lesson is timeless. Wisdom is the greatest investment you can ever make, because money without wisdom disappears. But wisdom creates money. Wisdom protects money. Wisdom multiplies money. Look at Warren Buffett. He reads 5 to 6 hours a day. He studies companies, history, and human behavior. He didn't get rich because he chased trends. He got rich because he made wise decisions over decades. Now think about the average person in North America. We spend hours scrolling social media. We binge shows. We consume endless entertainment. But how much time do we actually spend learning about money? How much time do we invest in understanding how wealth works? Every book you read? Every mentor you listen to? Every lesson you apply? It compounds. Just like money compounds in an investment account, wisdom compounds in your life. Wisdom helps you see opportunities others miss. It helps you avoid mistakes that cost years of progress. It helps you teach your kids so they don't repeat the same struggles. Here's something practical. Start small. Pick one book on personal finance, read 10 minutes a day, or listen to one podcast episode on your commute. Write down one idea you can apply this week. Over time, those little steps build up. You become the person who understands money. You become the one people turn to for advice. You become the one who isn't panicking during tough times because you've built your life on wisdom, not on luck. The passive path isn't just about saving and investing. It's about learning. It's about gaining wisdom that lasts a lifetime. Because when you have wisdom, you'll always know how to rebuild. You'll always know how to adapt. You'll always know how to move forward. And that brings us to the final piece. How do you put all these timeless lessons together? How do you take saving, minimalism, avoiding debt, working hard, diversifying, building generational wealth, and seeking wisdom, and turn them into a real plan? That's where the full playbook comes in. The roadmap to financial freedom, and it's time to put it all together. Here's the playbook. The same timeless principles we've been walking through. Simple, clear, actionable. Step 1. Save before you spend. Commit to setting aside 20% of your income. Automate it so you don't have to think about it. Build that emergency cushion. It's your first shield against life's surprises. Step 2. Live simply. Cut out what doesn't add value. Cancel subscriptions you don't use. Cook at home instead of eating out 5 nights a week. Buy things you actually need, not just things that grab your attention. Every dollar saved is a dollar freed. Step 3. Escape bad debt. Attack high-interest debt with intensity. Whether you prefer the snowball method or the avalanche method, stick with it. Imagine the freedom when your paycheck is truly yours again. Step 4. Work with purpose. Don't wait for wealth to drop into your lap. Take ownership of your career. Learn new skills. Start a side hustle. Put in the effort, but aim for work that gives meaning, not just money. Step 5. Diversify. Spread your investments. Think of stocks for growth, bonds for stability, real estate for long-term security. And don't forget about cash reserves. Balance is what keeps you standing when the world shifts. Step 6. Keep money in its place. Don't worship it. Don't let it define you. Use it as a tool to build freedom, not as a scoreboard for your worth. Money should serve your life, not control it. Step 7. Build for generations. Think beyond yourself. Set up retirement accounts. Save for your kids' education. Protect your family with life insurance. Teach them what you've learned so the cycle of struggle ends with you. Step 8. Seek wisdom first. Keep learning. Read, listen, ask questions. The smarter you get with money, the stronger your future becomes. Wisdom is the engine that drives everything else. Now let's bring it all together with a real-world example. Meet David. He makes $50,000 a year. At first, he's living paycheck to paycheck, but then he starts saving 10%. After a year, he raises it to 15%. By year 3, he's at 20%. He avoids credit card debt. He drives a used car and keeps his expenses low. He works on his skills, lands a better job, and starts investing in a 401k. He buys a small rental property with cash he saved. 10 years later, he has a 6-month emergency fund, a retirement account, a rental bringing in monthly income, and no credit card debt. He isn't a millionaire yet, but he's free. He has options. He has peace of mind. That's what financial freedom looks like. It's not about luck. It's not about chasing every trend. It's about following principles that have stood the test of time. Save. Live simply. Avoid debt. Work with purpose. Diversify. Don't worship money. Build for generations. Seek wisdom first. These are the steps of the passive path. And if you take them, you won't just build wealth. You'll build a life of freedom. You'll sleep better at night. You'll create a future that benefits not only you, but the people you love. The path is clear. The decision is yours. If you found value here, remember to like this video, subscribe to The Passive Path for more strategies on money, wealth, and freedom, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which of these principles will you start applying today?